My beloved child, you almost scrolled past this. You almost dismissed this moment as just another message, just another sound among many voices calling for your attention. But I did not allow your finger to move so quickly. I did not allow your eyes to turn away. There is a reason your heart paused. There is a reason something inside you whispered, "Open this now." That whisper was not pressure. It was not fear. It was me. Only you can see this message in this way, at this moment, in this exact condition of your heart. Others may hear similar words, but this one is wrapped around your story, stitched into your questions, woven into the silent thoughts you have not shared with anyone. I know how you have been feeling lately. I know the weight that has followed you into quiet rooms. I know the thoughts that visit you when the world grows still. And I have come close, not to correct you, not to judge you, but to speak directly into that hidden space. You have been asking for something. Perhaps you did not even form it into a clear prayer. It may have been a sigh. It may have been a restless night. It may have been a tear you quickly wipe away so no one would notice. But I heard it. I always hear what your heart says before your lips can find the words. And today, I answer not with thunder, not with spectacle, but with a gentle interruption of your ordinary routine. This is not an accident. You are not here by chance. I have watched the timing of your days, the rhythm of your disappointments, the quiet courage you show when no one applauds. And I chose this moment carefully. You may feel unnoticed. You may feel like your life has blended into the background. But I see you in full color. I see every effort, every restraint, every act of kindness you thought did not matter. There is urgency in my voice, but it is not the urgency of panic. It is the urgency of love. When a father sees his child standing at the edge of doubt, he does not wait casually. He steps forward. He calls out, "Luigi's." That is what I am doing now. I am reaching into your uncertainty before it convinces you of something untrue. I am speaking before fear writes a story over your future. So breathe, my beloved child. Let the noise fade for a moment. This message is not for the crowd. It is not for the timeline. It is not for performance. It is for you. I am about to unfold something that will steady your heart and remind you who walks beside you. Do not rush away. Do not close this door too quickly. I am here, and what I am about to say will meet you exactly where you are. My beloved child, before your eyes ever rested on these words, I saw you. Before your hand lifted your device, before curiosity stirred in your chest, before that quiet hesitation whispered, "Should I open this?" I was already there with you. Nothing about this moment surprises me. Nothing about your presence here is accidental or overlooked. I witnessed the seconds leading up to this decision, the subtle pull you felt, the faint resistance that tried to distract you, and the deeper longing that urged you forward. You may think this was a small choice, just a click, just a tab. But I see deeper than the surface. I see the journey that led you here today. I saw the conversation that left you unsettled. I saw the memory that resurfaced without warning. I saw the tiredness in your body that sleep has not fully healed. You carry more than you let others see. Even now, part of you wonders if this message could truly be meant for you. Part of you is cautious, guarding your heart from disappointment. I understand that caution. I have watched you learn it. There was a time when you were quicker to believe that good things could be meant for you. There was a season when hope came more easy. But life has a way of layering experience upon experience until your heart grows careful. You do not want to be misled. You do not want to hope in something that fades. So you stand at the doorway of expectation, unsure whether to step in. My beloved, I do not condemn that hesitancy. I hold it gently. I saw you before you clicked because I never take my eyes off you. When you sat quietly, staring at nothing in particular, I was there. When your mind replayed old conversations, wondering what you could have said differently, I was there. When you questioned whether you are falling behind, whether you are missing something others seem to understand, I was there. You are never navigating your thoughts alone, even when it feels like an echo chamber inside your own mind. You may not always sense my presence, but absence of feeling is not absence of me. Think of the sun behind thick clouds. The sky may appear gray, and the air may feel heavy, but the sun has not vanished. It continues to shine beyond what your eyes can perceive. In the same way, I remain steady beyond the shifting weather of your emotions. I am not intimidated by your doubts. I am not discouraged by your questions. I am a father who understands the complexity of the child he formed. Even your distractions have not hidden you from me. When you tried to busy yourself so you would not have to think too deeply, I noticed. When you filled silence with noise to avoid certain feelings, I understood. I do not shame you for coping the best way you knew how. I see the intention beneath your actions. I see the desire for peace that drives you, and I am not here to expose your weakness. I am here to remind you of your worth. This moment is not random scrolling. It is a meeting. I arranged it with tenderness. I guided your path without force. I do not push my way into your life. I invite. I nudge. I whisper. And when you respond, even slightly, I draw near. That small movement of your heart toward something hopeful matters more than you realize. You may wonder how I can be so attentive, so aware of every detail. It is because my love is not divided. It is not rationed. I am not overwhelmed by the number of souls I hold. When I look at you, my attention is full. You are not competing for my care. You are not waiting in line for my response. You are known individually, intimately, completely. So release the thought that you stumbled here by coincidence. Release the idea that this is just content passing through your day. I saw you before you clicked, and I chose to meet you here. Not to overwhelm you with demands, but to steady you with presence. Not to burden you with expectation, but to reassure you with closeness. Stay with me, my beloved child. Let the awareness of being seen settle into your spirit. You are not invisible. You have never been invisible. And as you continue listening, you will begin to understand just how carefully I have been guiding you all along. My beloved child, let me speak gently but clearly to the part of you that still wonders if this is all just timing, just algorithms, just chance. You have been taught to believe that most things happen randomly, that moments simply collide without meaning. But I tell you now, this is not a coincidence. You are not drifting through a careless universe. You are walking through days that I see in full, from beginning to end. There was once a letter written by a loving father to his child. It was sealed carefully, addressed with intention, and sent on its way. But along the journey, it was misplaced. It sat in a forgotten corner for a long time, gathering dust. Anyone looking at it would have assumed it was lost forever. Yet at the exact moment when the child felt most alone, when hope had grown thin and silence felt heavy, that letter was found and delivered. To an outsider, it seemed accidental. But to the father, it was always meant to arrive at that precise hour. You, my beloved, are holding your letter now. You may not understand the invisible threads that guided you here. You cannot see the small redirections, the slight delays, the subtle impressions I placed on your heart. But I see them all. I see the moments that seemed inconvenient, the pauses that felt frustrating, the changes in plan that you did not choose. What if those were not disruptions? What if they were alignments? What if I was gently adjusting your path so that this message would meet you exactly when your heart was ready to receive it? You often measure meaning by spectacle. You expect signs to be loud, undeniable, dramatic. But I often work in whispers. I move through ordinary spaces. I use quiet channels because your heart does not need to be shaken by fear. It needs to be steadied by love. And love rarely shouts. It draws near and speaks softly. Think about your recent days. The thoughts that have repeated themselves. The questions that have lingered longer than usual. The longing for clarity, for reassurance, for direction. Those inner stirrings were not ignored. They rose like incense, and I breathed them in. When you felt unseen, when you wondered if anyone truly understood the depth of your internal battles, I was already preparing this moment of response. You might say, but how could this be specifically for me? So many people might hear these words, and I answer you as a father who knows each child by name. When I speak personally. The same sun can warm many faces at once, yet each person feels its light uniquely on their skin. In the same way, these words carry something tailored to your hidden concerns. There are sentences here that will settle into your spirit differently than anyone else's, because they are shaped around your story. Release the need to explain this away. Release the urge to reduce it to coincidence. Not everything meaningful must be proven by logic alone. Some things are recognized by resonance. Your heart knows when it is being addressed. Your spirit recognizes when truth gently touches it. That quiet sense of this feels meant for me is not foolishness. It is awareness. I am more involved in your life than you realize. Not in a way that controls your every movement, but in a way that honors your choices while guiding your steps. I can see the intersections ahead of you. I can see the doors that will open and the ones that will close. And sometimes before you reach them, I send reassurance so that you do not lose heart on the way. This is one of those reassurances. So rest in this truth, my beloved child. You are not wandering aimlessly. Your days are not scattered pages without order. Even when you feel uncertain, you are held within a story that is unfolding with intention. And today, this message is a reminder that you are seen, guided, and deeply known. My beloved child, I know what you are carrying, even the things you have never spoken aloud. There are burdens you present to the world with composure, and there are burdens you hide behind a quiet smile. You have learned how to function while heavy. You have learned how to answer questions with "I'm fine," even when your heart feels anything but fine. But you do not have to perform strength with me. I see beneath the surface. I see the weight of responsibility that rests on your shoulders. The expectations, both spoken and unspoken. The desire to not disappoint anyone. The constant measuring of your progress against invisible standards. You wake up already thinking about what needs to be done, what must be fixed, what could go wrong. Even in moments of rest, your mind rarely stops moving. It circles problems like a watchful guard, afraid to relax in case something slips through. And then there are the quieter burdens. The memories you revisit when the room grows silent. Words that were said to you that cut deeper than you admitted. Moments you wish you could redo. Decisions you second-guess long after they have been made. Regret can be a subtle companion, walking beside you in ways others cannot detect. But I detect it. I see how it presses gently against your thoughts, how it tries to rewrite your identity based on a single chapter of your life. You have also been carrying questions about your future, Questions about whether you are on the right path. Questions about whether your efforts will lead anywhere meaningful. Sometimes you look ahead and see only fog. You try to plan, to calculate, to prepare, yet certainty remains just out of reach. That uncertainty feels heavy too. It makes even simple choices feel significant, as though one wrong step could unravel everything. My beloved, I do not speak these things to expose you. I speak them to relieve you. You are not weak for feeling overwhelmed. You are not faithless for wrestling with doubt. You are human, and I formed you with tenderness, not with harsh expectations. When a child carries more than they can manage, a loving father does not stand at a distance and critique their posture. He kneels. He reaches out his hands. He says, "Let me help you with that." Imagine a traveler walking a long road with a pack strapped tightly to their back. At first, the weight feels manageable. But mile after mile, it grows heavier. The straps dig into their shoulders. Your steps so. They consider sitting down in exhaustion, unsure how much farther they can go. Then someone stronger comes alongside them and gently lifts the pack away, if only for a while. The road does not disappear, but the burden shifts. That is what I am offering you now. You do not have to hold everything alone. You do not have to solve every uncertainty tonight. You do not have to replay every mistake as if punishment will somehow rewrite the past. I am not counting your failures the way you count them. I am not replaying your missteps the way you do. When I look at you, I see a heart trying its best. I see resilience you overlook. I see courage in the very fact that you are still standing. Bring me your hidden worries. Bring me the thoughts that feel too small to mention and the fears that feel too large to control. I am not overwhelmed by them. Your complexity does not confuse me. Your emotions do not intimidate me. I am steady enough to hold everything you hand over. Let this be the moment where you loosen your grip, even slightly. Let your shoulders drop. Let your breath deepen. You are not alone in this journey. I walk beside you, aware of every ounce you carry. And as we continue, you will begin to feel that the weight you thought was yours alone has already begun to lighten. My beloved child, one of the heaviest battles you fight does not happen in front of others. It happens within the quiet chambers of your own mind. No one sees the constant stream of thoughts that move through you. No one hears the arguments you rehearse internally, the scenarios you predict, the fears you try to prepare for before they ever arrive. But I hear them. I see the storm even when your face appears calm. Your mind was created as a place of creativity, wisdom, and imagination. Yet sometimes it becomes a battlefield. Thoughts rush in without invitation. What if this fails? What if I am not enough? What if everything falls apart? These questions can circle endlessly, like wind around a fragile house. You try to answer them all. You try to anticipate every possible outcome so you will not be caught unprepared. But the more you try to control the future in your thoughts, the more exhausted you become. Overthinking has felt like protection to you. If you can just think it through one more time, maybe you can prevent pain. If you can just analyze every detail, maybe you can avoid disappointment. But my beloved, constant mental striving does not guarantee safety. It only drains your peace. The future is not secured by worry. It is held securely by me. Imagine a small boat on a restless sea. The waves rise and fall, and the wind howls across the surface. Inside the boat sits a child gripping the sides tightly, convinced that if they just hold on hard enough, they can keep the vessel steady. But the stability of the boat does not depend on the child's grip. It depends on the one guiding it through the waters. You have been gripping tightly, believing that your mental effort alone keeps everything afloat. Yet I am the one who steadies the sea beneath you. Your thoughts that have repeated themselves so often that they feel like truth. The voice that tells you that you are behind. The voice that reminds you of past failures. The voice that whispers that others are stronger, wiser, more capable. My beloved child, not every voice in your mind speaks truth. Some are echoes of old wounds. Some are remnants of words spoken over you in seasons of vulnerability. Some are fears trying to disguise themselves as wisdom. I do not shame you for having these thoughts. I understand how they formed. I saw the moments that shaped them. But I gently invite you to examine them with me. When a thought enters and tightens your chest, pause. Ask yourself if it aligns with the love I have always shown you. Ask whether it reflects the way I see you. If it does not, then it does not deserve authority over your peace. Peace is not the absence of thoughts. It is the presence of trust. It is knowing that even when your mind cannot map every outcome, your life is not spiraling into chaos. I am not surprised by what tomorrow holds. I am not scrambling to fix unforeseen events. I exist beyond time, and I hold your days in my steady hands. When your thoughts begin to race tonight or tomorrow, do not fight them with harshness. Instead, bring them to me. Picture place each anxious question into my hands. You do not have to answer them all. You only have to trust that I can. Let your mind rest in the knowledge that you are guided. The battle in your mind does not define you. It is a season, not your identity. And even in the midst of it, you have shown remarkable strength. You are still here. You are still seeking hope. You are still listening for my voice. That alone reveals a resilience greater than the noise inside your head. My beloved child, I am speaking calm into your thoughts. I am breathing stillness into your storm. You do not have to win every mental battle by force. Allow my presence to quiet the waves. Allow my truth to anchor you. And as you continue listening, you will feel that the storm which once felt overwhelming is already beginning to settle. My beloved child, there have been moments when you looked upward in the quiet of your heart and whispered, "I just need a sign." You did not always say it with formal words. Sometimes it was a tired sigh at the end of the day. Sometimes it was a thought that passed quickly through your mind. Are you there? Do you see this? Should I keep going? You wondered if anyone heard you. I did. I always do. You have been standing at a crossroads in ways you may not have fully admitted. Decisions hover in front of you. Questions linger without clear answers. Part of you wants bold confirmation, something undeniable and unmistakable. You have imagined dramatic clarity, a door flung wide open, a voice loud enough to erase all doubt. But my ways are often gentler than you expect. I do not always shout. I guide. This moment, right now, is not an accident. It is not merely content appearing in your path. It is an answer, though perhaps not in the form you anticipated. You asked for reassurance that you are not alone. You asked for guidance about whether you are seen. You asked for peace in the middle of uncertainty. And here I am, speaking directly into those very places. There was once a traveler who walked through a dense forest, unsure which path to take. The trees were tall, their branches thick, and sunlight barely reached the ground. The traveler hoped for a blazing light to illuminate the entire journey at once. Instead, a small lantern appeared in his hand. It did not reveal the end of the forest. It only lit the next few steps. At first, he felt disappointed. But as he continued walking, he realized that the small light was enough. It kept him from stumbling. It showed him where to place his feet. And step by step, he moved forward safely. My beloved, you have been asking for a floodlight. I am giving you a lantern. You do not need to see the entire future to take the next faithful step. You only need enough light for today. If I revealed everything at once, it would overwhelm you. There is mercy in gradual clarity. There is protection in limited vision. I see the full path, and I guide you one portion at a time. You have also asked, quietly, whether your prayers matter. You have wondered if your words dissolve into silence. Hear me clearly. No prayer is wasted. Even the smallest cry for help is noticed. Even the faintest hope for comfort reaches me. I do not measure the elegance of your words. I respond to the sincerity of your heart. When you questioned whether you should keep trying, I heard you. When you wondered if it is time to give up on something that has drained you, I heard that too. And I am not here to pressure you with rigid answers. I am here to remind you that I am involved. You do not have to navigate the season guessing at my presence. I am near. Consider how many times in your life clarity came only after you took a small step of trust. You did not have full assurance, yet you moved forward anyway. And somehow, doors opened. Help appeared. Strength rose within you. That was not coincidence. That was partnership. You stepped, and I steadied you. So let this message settle into your heart as a living sign. Not a spectacle meant to impress, but a reassurance meant to anchor you. You are not abandoned in your questioning. You are not foolish for seeking direction. The desire for guidance itself is evidence that your heart is open. My beloved child, you asked for a sign. Let this be one of them. I am speaking. I am guiding. I am present in your unfolding story. Trust that the light you need for today is already in your hands. My beloved child, there is a door in your memory that still troubles you. A door you knocked on with hope. A door you prayed would open. A door you imagined would lead to relief, success, love, or clarity. But it did not open. Or perhaps it opened briefly, only to close again. And when it did, you wondered what you did wrong. You questioned your worth. You questioned your timing. You may have even questioned me. I want you to hear this gently. Not every closed door is rejection. Some doors close because they are not safe for you. Some remain shut because they would lead you into places that would drain you, diminish you, or distract you from something better that is forming. When a loving father sees danger ahead, he does not apologize for redirecting his child. He intervenes. You interpreted that closed door as loss. But what if it was protection? What if the opportunity you mourned would have entangled you in stress beyond what you were meant to carry? What if the relationship that did not continue would have slowly eroded your peace? What if the plan that collapsed would have taken you far from the path where your gifts will truly flourish? There was once a young builder who dreamed of constructing his home on a beautiful patch of land near the edge of a cliff. The view was breathtaking. The horizon stretched wide and endless. He was certain it was a perfect place. But an older, wiser guide quietly stopped him. Not here, the guide said. The builder was frustrated. He could not see the fault beneath the surface. Yet years later, after storms eroded the cliffside and sections of land fell away, he understood. The place he once longed for would not have endured. My beloved, I see the foundation beneath what you desire. I see what will hold and what will crumble. You see beauty and promise from your limited angle. I see longevity, safety, and alignment with your purpose. When something does not unfold as you expected, it is not proof that you are forgotten. It may be evidence that you are being guarded. You have also felt the sting of comparison. You saw others walking through doors that remained closed to you. You wondered why their path seemed smoother, their progress more visible. But you are not called to their blueprint. Each life unfolds differently. Some paths require detours not because they are inferior, but because they lead somewhere specific. It is natural to grieve what you thought would be. I do not dismiss that grief. Disappointment is real. Hopes take shape in your imagination, and when they dissolve, it leaves an ache. Bring that ache to me. I am not offended by your sorrow. I sit with you in it. But do not let disappointment harden into despair. There are doors ahead that you cannot yet see. Doors that align with your growth. Doors that will open at the right time, when you are stronger, clearer, more prepared than you realize. Some of the very qualities you are developing now, patience, resilience, discernment, are forming because of the doors that did not open. Trust that I am not withholding good from you. I am shaping good for you. When I close a path, it is not to trap you in stagnation. It is to guide you towards something that will not collapse under pressure. You may not understand the redirection immediately, but one day you will look back and see the mercy in it. So release the belief that a closed door defines your future. It does not. It is a single moment, not the final chapter. Walk forward with me. The path ahead may curve in ways you did not predict, but it is not leading you into emptiness. It is leading you into purpose, protection, and peace that endures. My beloved child, there is a quiet pressure that has been sitting on your heart, whispering that you are behind. Behind in your goals, behind in your relationships, behind in your achievements. You look around and see others moving forward, celebrating milestones, building families, advancing careers, discovering clarity, and you measure your own journey against theirs. In those moments, it feels as though you missed a signal, as though everyone else received instructions that somehow passed you by. But I tell you gently and firmly, you are not behind. You are not running someone else's race. You are not following someone else's timeline. You are living a life that was uniquely designed with its own rhythm, its own pace, its own unfolding. When you compare your chapter 3 to someone else's chapter 10, you create unnecessary sorrow. You do not see the full story of their journey, just as they do not see the full story of yours. Think of a garden, my beloved. In the same soil, different seeds are planted. Some sprout quickly, pushing through the surface within days. Others remain hidden for weeks, even months. If you judged only by what is visible above the ground, you might assume the slower seed is failing. But beneath the soil, roots are forming. Depth is developing. Strength is growing in ways the eye cannot measure. When that slower seed finally emerges, it often stands more resilient against storms. Your life is not delayed. It is developing. There are seasons designed specifically for foundation building. Seasons where growth happens internally rather than publicly. Seasons where lessons are learned quietly, where character is refined in ways that applause cannot see. You may wish for visible progress, for tangible markers that prove you are moving forward. But progress is not always loud. Sometimes it is subtle, steady, and deeply transformative. You have also faced challenges that others have not. You have walked through circumstances that required recovery, reflection, or rebuilding. Healing takes time. Realignment takes time. And there is no shame in that. I do not rush your restoration. I honor it. I value depth over speed. The world often celebrates acceleration. It praises those who move quickly, who achieve early, who rise fast. But I am not bound by that urgency. I am more concerned with endurance than with haste. A structure built too quickly without proper foundation may look impressive at first, but it cannot withstand pressure. I am shaping you for longevity, not for fleeting recognition. You may not see all the ways you have grown, but look at how you respond to difficulty now compared to years ago. Look at how your understanding has expanded. Look at how your compassion has deepened. Those changes matter. They are signs of movement, even if they do not come with trophies or announcements. Release the idea that you must catch up. Catch up to whom? Catch up to what? Your path has never been a competition. It is a calling, and a calling unfolds according to purpose, not pressure. Imagine walking with me along a long road. You glance to the side and notice others walking at different speeds. Some sprint ahead. Some pause to rest. Some take alternate routes. But when you look at me, you see that I am not anxious. I am not urging you to hurry and panic. I am steady, guiding your pace according to what your heart and strength can sustain. My beloved child, you are exactly where you need to be for this moment. Not because you have done everything perfectly, but because I am capable of weaving every experience into growth. Trust the timing of your life. Trust the season you are in. What is meant for you will not pass you by. You are not behind. You are becoming. And becoming takes time. My beloved child, there are days when yesterday feels heavier than today. Memories surface without warning. A familiar song, a quiet evening, a certain date on the calendar, and suddenly you are pulled backward into moments you thought you had already survived. The past has a way of revisiting you, sometimes gently, sometimes with force. And when it does, you wonder if you have truly moved on or if you are still carrying more than you realized. I see the weight of yesterday resting on you, the mistakes you replay, the words you wish you had not spoken, the chances you believe you missed. There are scenes in your mind that feel permanent, as if they define who you are. But listen to me carefully, my beloved. Your past is a chapter, not your identity. You have been harder on yourself than I have ever been. You measure your worth against decisions made in seasons when you were still learning, still growing, still navigating with limited understanding. You expect your younger self to have possessed the wisdom you have now. But growth does not work that way. You did the best you could with what you knew at the time. And even in your missteps, I was present, not to condemn, but to guide you forward. Imagine a traveler who stumbles on a rocky path and falls. The dust clings to their clothes. Their knees ache. For a moment, they sit there, embarrassed and frustrated. But the fall does not mean the journey is over. They rise. They brush off the dust. They continue walking. The stumble becomes part of the story, not the conclusion. So it is with you. There are also wounds inflicted by others that you still carry quietly. Words that pierce deeper than they should have. Betrayals that shift in your trust. Absences that left you feeling abandoned. These are not small things. They shaped you. They altered the way you see yourself and the world. But do not confuse the pain you experienced with a flaw in your worth. What happened to you does not diminish who you are. I am like a river that flows steadily, washing over stones that have been buried in mud. Over time, the current clears what once seemed permanently stained. Forgiveness, healing, renewal. These are not instant erasures. They are gradual transformations. And I am patient with the process in you. I do not rush your healing. I do not grow weary of your revisiting certain memories. I walk with you through them, again and again, until their sting lessens. You may fear that your past disqualifies you from something beautiful ahead, but I am not writing your future with the ink of your mistakes. I redeem what you think is ruined. I restore what you believe is broken beyond repair. I can take even your most painful chapters and weave them into compassion, wisdom, and strength that will one day comfort someone else. When the weight of yesterday presses on you, bring it to me instead of carrying it alone. Speak honestly about your regret. Speak honestly about your hurt. I am not shocked by your history. I have seen every moment, and I have never turned away from you because of it. My beloved child, you are not trapped in what has already happened. You are moving forward, even if slowly. The past may have shaped you, but it does not own you. I am doing something new in you, something not bound by former failures or former pain. Let yesterday loosen its grip. Let grace rewrite the narrative. You are more than your worst moment. You are more than your deepest wound. And as we continue, you will begin to see that restoration is not only possible, it is already unfolding within you. My beloved child, while you have been questioning your progress, I have been rebuilding you quietly. Not in loud, visible ways that demand attention, but in deep, steady ways that transform you from the inside out. You look at your life and sometimes see only what has not changed yet. I look at you and see foundations being strengthened, roots extending further than you know. There are seasons when growth is hidden. A tree in winter appears lifeless to the untrained eye. Its branches are bare. Its progress seems paused. But beneath the surface, life continues. The roots press deeper into the soil. Strength gathers in silence. When spring comes, what was invisible becomes undeniable. My beloved, you are in a season where roots are growing. You have learned lessons through pain that comfort could never teach. You have developed discernment because of disappointment. You have gained empathy because you have known sorrow. These are not small things. They are part of the rebuilding. I am shaping your character with care, sanding down rough edges, reinforcing areas that once felt fragile. This process is not punishment. It is preparation. Sometimes you wish for immediate results. You want visible breakthroughs, outward confirmations that something is shifting. But if I built everything at once, you would not be ready to sustain it. I am more interested in stability than speed. What I am preparing for you requires a heart that is steady, not rushed. So I work in the quiet places of your thoughts, your motives, your desires. There have been subtle changes in you that you barely noticed. The way you respond more calmly to situations that once triggered you. The way you pause before reacting. The way you seek peace instead of proving yourself right. These shifts are evidence of rebuilding. They may not make headlines, but they make strength. You are not falling apart. You are being reconstructed. Even when you feel tired, even when you wonder if anything is happening at all, trust that I am active. A builder does not abandon the structure halfway through. I see the finished design even when you see only scaffolding. I know what you are becoming, and it is beautiful. So do not despise small progress. Do not underestimate quiet transformation. What grows slowly often endures longest. What is built with care stands firm against storms. I am rebuilding your confidence, your faith, your understanding of who you are. I am restoring parts of you that life tried to erode. And as I rebuild you, I invite you into something greater than this moment. My beloved child, if these words are strengthening your heart, then understand this. When you respond to my voice, you help it reach others who are waiting in the dark for the same reassurance. When you give through Super Thanks, membership, or the PayPal link placed in the description, and even shown as a QR code in this video, you are not supporting a platform. You are sowing seeds into souls. I have said, give, and it shall be given unto you, and I speak that promise over you now as living truth. When you release your gift, you become a river, not a reservoir, allowing my light to travel further than you can see. This is your moment to act with faith, not hesitation. Do not let this opportunity pass as ordinary, for obedience in small acts opens great doors in the Spirit. I bless every hand that gives, every heart that responds, every seed planted in trust. What you sow into this mission will return to you in ways beyond currency, peace, provision, and unexpected favor. If you feel my nudge right now, that is not pressure, it is invitation. Step forward in faith and give. My beloved child, there is something about the unknown that unsettles you. It is not always dramatic fear. Sometimes it is subtle, a quiet tension in your chest when you think about tomorrow, a hesitation when you consider making a decision, a restlessness when you imagine what could change. The future feels like a wide landscape covered in fog, and you are standing at its edge, unsure where to step. You long for certainty. You want assurance that your efforts will lead somewhere meaningful. You want to know that the relationship you invest in will endure. You want to feel confident that the risks you take will not leave you stranded. But the unknown does not offer guarantees. It asks for trust, and trust can feel vulnerable. Hear me gently. The unknown to you is not unknown to me. Imagine you walking through thick morning fog. You cannot see more than a few steps ahead. The path beyond your immediate view is hidden. Yet if someone taller stands beside you, someone who can see above the fog, their perspective changes everything. You may not see the entire road, but they do. When they say, "Step forward, it is safe," their voice becomes your guidance. That is how I walk with you. You often try to clear the fog yourself. You analyze possibilities, anticipate outcomes, and rehearse different scenarios in your mind. You hope that by thinking enough, you can eliminate uncertainty. But some things are not meant to be solved through mental effort. They are meant to be surrendered into trust. The fear of the unknown sometimes disguises itself as caution. And caution is not wrong. Wisdom has its place. But when caution turns into paralysis, when it keeps you from moving at all, it begins to steal the life I have placed within you. You were not created to stand frozen at the edge of possibility. You were created to walk, even if slowly, with faith that you are not alone. You may worry about making the wrong choice. You fear that one misstep could alter everything. But my beloved child, I am greater than your mistakes. Even when you choose imperfectly, I am capable of redirecting you. I do not abandon you at the first sign of error. I guide, adjust, and realign. Your life is not so fragile that one decision will destroy it beyond repair. Think back to moments in your past when you faced uncertainty before. At the time, it felt overwhelming. Yet you moved forward anyway. And now, looking back, you can see how strength developed through those very seasons. The unknown forced you to grow. It stretched you trust. It revealed resilience you did not know you had. You do not need to have every answer before you take the next step. You only need enough courage for today. I am not asking you to solve your entire future tonight. I am asking you to trust that I am already present in it. Let your breathing slow when anxiety rises. When your mind begins to imagine worst-case scenarios, gently bring it back to this truth. I am with you. I am not waiting at the end of your journey, arms crossed, evaluating your performance. I am walking beside you, guiding each step. The unknown is not an enemy. It is a space where faith grows. It is a place where reliance deepens. And while you may not see the full map, you are not wandering without direction. My beloved child, the fog will lift in time. Clarity will come when you need it. Until then, hold my hand. Take the step in front of you. The path ahead is not empty. It is filled with my presence, my guidance, and a future that is held securely, even when you cannot yet see it. My beloved child, beneath all your questions, beneath your striving, beneath your fears about the future, and your reflections on the past, there is one truth I want to anchor firmly in your heart. You are deeply loved, not tolerated, not conditionally accepted, not valued only when you succeed. You are loved in a way that does not fluctuate with your performance. My love for you does not rise on your good days and fall on your difficult ones. It does not depend on how productive you are, how strong you appear, or how perfectly you manage your responsibilities. It is steady. It is constant. It is not fragile. You have lived in a world where love often feels earned. Applause comes when you achieve. Approval comes when you meet expectations. Affection sometimes feels tied to how well you fulfill a role. Over time, you may have unconsciously believed that I operate the same way. That if you pray enough, serve enough, improve enough, then you will secure my closeness. But my beloved child, you do not earn what has already been given. Think of a newborn child. They arrive without accomplishments, without achievements, without proof of worth. Yet they are cherished completely. They are held, protected, delighted in, simply because they are. That is how I see you. Not as a project to be perfected before I can love you, but as my creation, already worthy of affection. There have been moments when you felt distant from me. Moments when you wondered if I was disappointed. Moments when silence felt like absence. But silence is not rejection. Distance in feeling is not distance in reality. My love does not withdraw when you struggle. It draws closer. You may carry hidden shame, memories of things you regret, seasons when you wandered, times when you doubted. You might fear that these experiences have placed a barrier between us. But nothing you have done has surprised me. Nothing has caused me to reconsider loving you. I knew your entire story before it began, and I chose to love you fully anyway. Let that sink in. I knew your strengths and your weaknesses. I knew your brightest days and your hardest nights. I knew the words you would say and the tears you would cry. And still, I form you with intention. Still, I breathe life into your lungs each day. Still, I call you my beloved. When you wake in the morning, my love is there before your first thought. When you move through your tasks, my love surrounds you quietly. When you lie down at night, even if your mind is restless, my love remains unchanged. It is not something you must chase. It is something you live within. Imagine standing beneath a waterfall of clear, steady water. You do not have to strain to receive it. You simply stand there, and it flows over you. That is how my love is, continuous, renewing, washing away the lies that say you are not enough. If you have felt unseen, know that you are seen and cherished. If you have felt overlooked, know that your life matters deeply to me. If you have felt unworthy, know that worth was placed in you before you ever had a chance to question it. My beloved child, rest in this truth. Stop striving, even for a moment. Let yourself be loved without condition. Let the tension in your chest soften. You do not need to impress me. You do not need to prove yourself. You are deeply loved right now, as you are. And from that love, strength will grow. From that love, peace will settle. From that love, you will find the courage to continue. My beloved child, there is a voice that has followed you for a long time. It does not always shout. Sometimes it whispers quietly, almost blending in with your own thoughts. It says, "You're not enough, not smart enough, not strong enough, not disciplined enough, not worthy enough." And because it has repeated itself so often, it has begun to sound familiar, almost believable. I want you to pause with me right now and examine that voice. Where did it begin? Was it formed from a careless comment spoken over you years ago? Was it shaped by comparison in classrooms, workplaces, or relationships? Was it reinforced by a mistake that made you feel exposed and small? That voice did not originate from me. I do not speak to you with accusation. I do not diminish you to motivate you. I do not use shame as a tool for growth. You have mistaken harshness for honesty. You have believed that being hard on yourself will make you better, stronger, more prepared. But constant self-criticism does not build strength. It builds exhaustion. It creates a life where you are always chasing approval, even from yourself. Imagine a sculptor carefully shaping stone into something beautiful. Each strike of the chisel is intentional, guided, purposeful. The sculptor does not smash the stone in anger. He shapes it with vision in mind. When I refine you, it is not with destructive blows of condemnation. It is with careful, loving guidance. The difference matters. The voice that says you are not enough often compares you to others. It highlights what they seem to do better. It magnifies their strengths and minimizes yours. But comparison distorts reality. You see others' highlight moments and measure them against your private struggles. You forget that they too carried insecurities, doubts, and unseen challenges. You were not created to be a replica of anyone else. Your gifts are distinct. Your personality is intentional. Your journey has formed qualities in you that cannot be duplicated. When you attempt to measure yourself by someone else's design, you overlook the unique value woven into your own. My beloved child, you are not lacking as much as you think. Yes, you are still growing. Yes, you have areas to strengthen. Growth is part of being alive. But growth does not mean deficiency. It means development. There is a difference. When the thought arises, "I will never be enough," I want you to replace it with this truth. You are already loved, already chosen, already valued. Your worth does not increase when you succeed, and it does not decrease when you stumble. It remains steady because it is rooted in me, not in your fluctuating performance. You have survived challenges that once felt impossible. You have adapted in seasons that demanded resilience. You have shown kindness when bitterness would have been easier. These are not signs of inadequacy. They are evidence of strength forming within you. The voice of condemnation pushes you into fear. My voice calls you into growth with grace. I may nudge you toward change, but I do so with encouragement, not humiliation. I remind you of who you are becoming, not who you once were. Listen closely, my beloved. When a thought diminishes you, isolates you, or convinces you that you are fundamentally flawed, it does not carry my tone. My voice restores. My voice reassures. My voice calls out the potential I have placed within you. You are not a mistake. You are not an afterthought. You are not perpetually falling short. You are in progress, and progress is beautiful. Let that old voice lose its authority. Let truth replace it. You are enough to take the next step. Enough to grow. Enough to be loved. And as you continue listening, you will begin to see yourself more clearly through my eyes, not through the distorted lens of doubt. My beloved child, there are wounds within you that no one else can see. They do not appear on your skin. They do not always show in your expressions. Yet they influence how you respond, how you trust, how you protect your heart. Some of these wounds are old. Some are recent. All of them matter to me. You may believe that because time has passed, you should already be healed. You may feel frustrated that certain memories still sting, that certain situations still trigger emotions you thought you had overcome. But healing is not a straight line. It is not a switch that flips overnight. It is a process, often quiet and gradual, unfolding beneath the surface. Consider a bone that has been fractured. From the outside, it may appear stable after it is set, but deep within, cells are working tirelessly, knitting the break together, strengthening the fragile place. It takes time, and if rushed, the healing can be incomplete. In the same way, I am mending places inside you that were once broken. Even if you cannot see it, restoration is happening. There are patterns in your reactions that formed as protection. Perhaps you learned to withdraw when you felt misunderstood. Perhaps you learned to overachieve to avoid criticism. Perhaps you learned to remain silent to keep peace. These patterns once served a purpose. They help you survive difficult seasons. But now, I am gently teaching you new ways of living that are rooted not in fear, but in security. You may not notice the healing immediately. It often shows up in small shifts. A moment when you choose calm instead of defensiveness. A conversation where you speak honestly without trembling. A decision to set a boundary where you once would have overextended yourself. These are signs of growth. These are signs of restoration. I am not impatient with your pace. I do not demand that you be over it by now. I understand how deeply certain experiences mark you. I was there when they happened. I saw the confusion, the disappointment, the hurt. And I did not turn away then, nor will I now. There may be areas where you still feel fragile. Situations that make you anxious without clear explanation. Relationships that stir fear of rejection. Instead of shaming yourself for these reactions, bring them to me. Healing does not require pretending the pain never existed. It requires allowing me to enter those tender spaces with gentleness. Imagine a gardener tending to soil that has been hardened by harsh weather. He does not curse the ground for being stiff. He waters it. He loosens it carefully. He prepares it to receive new seeds. In the same way, I am softening places in your heart that became guarded. I am preparing you for healthier connections, deeper peace, and stronger trust. You are not broken beyond repair. You are not permanently damaged by what you have endured. What hurt you does not have the final word over you. I do. Healing also involves releasing what you cannot change. Letting go of the need to rewrite the past. Letting go of the desire to control how others perceive you. Letting go of self-blame for circumstances that were never fully within your control. This release may feel uncomfortable at first, like setting down something you have carried for a long time. But it creates space for renewal. My beloved child, even now, as you listen, I am working in you. In places you cannot see. In layers you cannot fully understand. Trust that the process is active. Trust that the fragile areas are becoming strong. You may not wake up tomorrow suddenly transformed. But little by little, day by day, healing is unfolding. And one day, you will look back and realize that the wound which once defined your fear has become the place where compassion and strength now reside. My beloved child, waiting hath been one of the hardest parts of your journey. You can endure effort. You can endure challenge. But waiting without clear timelines, without visible progress, without certainty, has tested your patience more than you expected. There are prayers you have whispered that still feel unanswered. There are desires in your heart that remain unfulfilled. And in the quiet spaces between asking and receiving, doubt tries to grow. Waiting can feel like stagnation. It can feel like being overlooked while others move ahead. You may wonder if something hath been forgotten, if your request was misplaced, if your season has somehow been skipped. But hear me clearly, my beloved, waiting is not abandonment. It is preparation. Think of a seed placed deep within the soil. Once it is buried, nothing appears to happen. From the outside, the ground looks unchanged. Days pass. Rain falls. Sunlight warms the surface. Still, no sign of life breaks through. If someone judged only by what they could see, they might assume the seed has failed. But beneath the surface, transformation is underway. The shell softens. Roots begin to stretch downward. Strength gathers invisibly. The seed is not inactive. It is becoming. You are in such a season. There are qualities forming within you that could not develop in constant motion. Patience is growing. Depth is forming. Clarity is refining your desires. In waiting, you are learning what truly matters and what was only impulse. You are discovering resilience that quick success would never have required. Waiting also protects you from receiving something before you are ready to sustain it. If I placed every blessing in your hands the moment you asked, you might not yet have the structure to hold it. Just as a house requires a solid foundation before the walls can rise, your life is being reinforced in quiet ways. I know the frustration that creeps in, the moments when you ask, how much longer? The temptation to rush ahead, to force outcomes, to grasp at substitutes that promise immediate relief. But rushing can entangle you in paths that do not align with your long-term peace. Waiting refines your trust. There was once a musician who longed to perform on grand stages. He practiced daily, yet no audience came. He played in small rooms, often unnoticed. Years passed. He wondered if his dedication was wasted. But in those quiet years, his skill matured. His understanding deepened. When the opportunity finally arrived, he was not merely talented. He was prepared. The waiting had shaped him into someone capable of sustaining the state he once dreamed of. My beloved child, what you are waiting for is not separate from who you are becoming. The promise and the preparation are intertwined. Every day you remain faithful, every time you choose hope over despair, you are strengthening the roots beneath your future. You not measure this season by visible outcomes alone. Measure it by the quiet growth within you. Measure it by the increased wisdom, the steadier responses, the clear boundaries. These are signs that waiting is not empty. You are not forgotten. I have not misplaced your desires. I have not ignored your prayers. Timing is part of love. Timing ensures that what arrives blesses rather than burdens. So breathe deeply in this waiting season. Let go of the fear that nothing is happening. Trust that beneath the surface, transformation is unfolding. And when the moment comes for what you have been longing for, you will step into it not fragile, but rooted, not anxious, but ready. My beloved child, there are moments when you look at the world around you and feel small. The challenges seem large. The noise is constant. The pace is relentless. You may wonder why you were placed in this exact time, in this exact generation, with these exact circumstances. You may even feel as though you would have preferred a simpler era, a quieter setting, a a life with fewer complications. But you were not placed here by accident. You were chosen for this time. Before you ever took your first breath, I saw the landscape of this world. I saw the changes, the tensions, the opportunities, the needs. And I saw you, not as an afterthought, not as someone barely equipped to survive, but as someone uniquely designed to live and move within this moment of history. You carry qualities that are needed now. Your perspective, shaped by your experiences, gives you insight that someone else does not possess. Your compassion, formed through your own trials, allows you to understand pain in a way that is authentic. Your questions, your curiosity, even your struggles, they are not random flaws. They are part of the way you engage with the world. Sometimes you underestimate your influence because it does not look dramatic. You are not required to change everything at once. You are not required to solve every problem you see. But your presence matters in conversations, your relationships, in the quiet ways you respond to others. A gentle word, a patient choice, a moment of integrity when no one is watching. These ripple outward more than you realize. You may feel unqualified at times. You may compare yourself to those who appear more confident, more skilled, more certain of their purpose. But purpose is not always loud. It is often woven into everyday faithfulness. It is expressed in small, consistent actions that build trust and light over time. There was once a lantern placed on a dark path. It did not illuminate the entire valley. It did not shine like the sun. But for those walking near it, it made all the difference. They could see where to step. They could avoid stumbling. The lantern may have seemed modest in its glow, but its impact was real. My beloved child, you are such a light in your own sphere. You were not meant to imitate someone else's calling. You were not meant to replicate another's journey. The challenges you have faced have shaped you precisely for the environments you now inhabit. Even your doubts have deepened your empathy. And even your waiting has refined your patience. When you question your significance, remember this: I do not create without intention. I do not design without purpose. If you are here, in this time, in this place, it is because your life fits within a larger story that extends beyond what you can see. You do not have to understand the entire story to fulfill your part in it. You only need to walk faithfully in the spaces before you. Be kind where you can be kind. Be truthful where truth is needed. Be steady when others are anxious. These simple acts carry weight in ways that stretch beyond your awareness. You not shrink yourself because the world feels overwhelming. You were equipped with the resilience you need. You were given the capacity to grow into what this season requires, and you are not alone in it. I walk with you, strengthening you as you go. My beloved child, you were chosen for this time, not to be perfect, not to be fearless, but to be present, to be faithful, and to allow your life to reflect the love that has always surrounded you. My beloved child, there was a night when you cried and no one saw you. The room was quiet. Lights were dim or perhaps completely off. You tried to hold yourself together throughout the day, answering questions, fulfilling responsibilities, keeping your composure. But when you were finally alone, the weight you had been carrying found its way out through tears. You may think that moment was small, unnoticed, just another private breakdown in a long line of private battles. But I was there. I was closer than you realized. Every tear that fell, every shaky breath you tried to steady, every thought that rushed through your mind, I witnessed it all with tenderness. You did not need to explain yourself to me that night. You did not need to organize your feelings into neat sentences. Your tears spoke clearly enough. They said, "This is heavy." They said, "I'm tired." They said, "I don't know how much more I can carry." And I heard you. Sometimes you feel strongest when you are holding everything together. But there is a different kind of strength in allowing yourself to be honest about your pain. That night was not a sign of weakness. It was a release. It was your heart refusing to remain numb. You may have questioned why the struggle did not disappear immediately after you prayed. You may have hoped that relief would rush in instantly, that clarity would replace confusion in a single moment. But healing and comfort often arrive gently, like dawn creeping into darkness rather than a sudden flash of light. Imagine a child waking from a nightmare. Their heart is racing. Their breathing is uneven. A loving parent does not stand at the doorway and shout instructions. They come close. They sit beside the bed. They speak softly. They remain present until the child's heartbeat slows. That is how I was with you in your sorrow. You might not have felt dramatic change that night, but something subtle happened. The act of releasing your tears created space within you. The honesty opened a doorway for comfort to enter, even if slowly. You were not alone in that room, even if no one else physically stood beside you. I collect the moments you think are insignificant. The quiet cries, the whispered prayers, the exhausted sighs. They matter to me. They are evidence of your humanity, of your desire to keep going even when it feels difficult. Perhaps you wiped your face, took a deep breath, and returned to your responsibilities the next day as though nothing had happened. The world may not have known what you endured the night before, but I knew, and I was proud of your courage to continue. Do not be ashamed of the nights you break down. Do not judge yourself for the tears that come uninvited. Emotions are not signs that you are failing. They are signs that you are alive, that you care deeply, that your heart is still engaged with the world around you. My beloved child, even in your loneliest moments, you are seen. Even in your quietest pain, you are accompanied. I am not distant from your sorrow. I enter it with you. I sit beside you. I steady you. And when the next difficult night comes, and there may be one, because life is not without challenge, remember this: you do not cry alone. Your tears are noticed. Your heart is held, and the comfort you long for is closer than you think, wrapping around you even in the dark. My beloved child, you often focus on what feels fragile within you. You notice your moments of doubt, your hesitation, your weariness. But there is something else within you that you rarely acknowledge. There is a strength that has been forming quietly over the years. A strength you did not set out to build, yet it grew each time you faced something difficult and chose to keep going. Think about all you have endured. Situations that once felt impossible. Conversations that stretched your courage. Losses that reshaped your understanding of life. There were days when you believed you would not make it through, and yet here you are, breathing, moving forward, still capable of hope. That is not accidental. That is resilience. Strength does not always look like confidence. Sometimes it looks like showing up when you would rather hide. Sometimes it looks like trying again after disappointment. Sometimes it looks like choosing kindness when you feel misunderstood. You have demonstrated this kind of strength more times than you realize. There was a time when a single setback would have shaken you deeply. Now, while challenges still affect you, you recover differently. You reflect. You adjust. You grow. That is evidence of development. The storms you have weathered have strengthened your foundation. Imagine a tree standing through multiple seasons of harsh wind. At first, the gusts bend its branches sharply. Leaves are torn away. It may appear vulnerable, but with each storm, its roots grip the soil more firmly. The trunk thickens. The structure stabilizes. Over time, what once threatened to uproot it instead reinforces its endurance. You are like that tree, my beloved. The very winds that seemed intent on breaking you have deepened your roots. You may not feel strong because you still experience fear, but strength is not the absence of fear. It is the decision to move forward despite it. Courage and vulnerability often coexist. The fact that you continue seeking light, even after facing darkness, reveals a strength far greater than you credit yourself for. I see the internal battles you have fought, the moments when giving up seemed easier than pressing on. I saw the choice you made to try again. I saw the silent determination in you when you told yourself, just one more step. That determination is part of who you are now. There are also ways your strength benefits others. You may not always see it, but your experiences have given you empathy. When someone shares their struggle with you, you listen with understanding shaped by your own journey. You offer reassurance not from theory, but from lived experience. Your scars have become sources of compassion. Do not minimize the growth that has taken place within you. Do not dismiss your endurance as mere survival. Survival in hard seasons is an achievement. Continuing to believe in goodness after hardship is an achievement. Remaining open-hearted after disappointment is an achievement. My beloved child, I have been strengthening you all along, not to make you hardened or unfeeling, but to make you steady. There will be future moments that require this resilience, and when they come, you will draw from a depth you did not know you possessed. The strength within you is not loud or boastful. It is quiet and consistent. It is the strength that rises in the morning even after a restless night. It is the strength that chooses growth over bitterness. It is the strength that still listens for my voice. Trust that you are more capable than you think. You are not as fragile as fear sometimes suggests. You have already proven your ability to endure. And as you continue forward, you will discover that the strength I have cultivated within you is sufficient for whatever lies ahead. My beloved child, there is a tightness in you that comes from trying to hold everything together. You carry plans in your mind like fragile glass, afraid that if you loosen your grip even slightly, everything will shatter. You rehearse conversations before they happen. You anticipate problems before they arise. You attempt to manage outcomes that are not fully yours to command. And while this effort comes from a desire to protect your life, it often leaves you exhausted. Control can feel like safety. If you can just predict enough, prepare enough, organize enough, then perhaps nothing will catch you off guard. But life has a way of unfolding beyond your calculations. And when it does, frustration grows. Anxiety rises. You may even blame yourself for not foreseeing what was never meant to be in your hands. Hear me gently, my beloved. You were never meant to carry the weight of absolute control. Imagine holding a handful of sand tightly in your fist. The tighter you squeeze, the more it slips through your fingers. But when you open your hand, the sand rests there more naturally. Control works in a similar way. The more rigidly you attempt to secure every detail, the more tension you create within yourself. Surrender is not weakness, it is wisdom. Surrender does not mean you stop caring. It does not mean you abandon responsibility. It means you recognize the boundary between what is yours to steward and what is mine to oversee. You are responsible for your choices, your integrity, your effort. But you are not responsible for every outcome, every reaction, every future event. You may fear that if you release control, everything will fall apart. But consider this. Has your control truly guaranteed peace? Has your constant mental planning removed all uncertainty? Or has it only intensified your need to manage what was never fully within your grasp? When you were younger, you may have believed that growing older meant gaining total command over your world. Yet maturity often reveals the opposite. It reveals how much remains beyond personal power, and that realization can be unsettling. But it is also freeing, if you allow it to be. There is a place of rest that comes when you entrust what you cannot control to me. It is not passive resignation. It is active trust. It is saying, I will do what I can with honesty and care, and I will release the rest. That release creates space in your heart for peace. Picture yourself carrying a heavy box filled with worries, financial concerns, relational tensions, future uncertainties. You have been holding it against your chest, arms trembling, refusing to set it down because you believe no one else can handle it. Now imagine placing that box into my hands. Notice how your shoulders lower. Notice how your breathing steadies. The issues inside the box do not vanish instantly, but the weight shifts. You do not have to solve everything tonight. You do not have to guarantee tomorrow's success before you sleep. Trust is not a single dramatic decision. It is a daily posture, a moment-by-moment willingness to loosen your grip. My beloved child, I am not asking you to stop planning wisely. I am asking you to stop believing that your security depends solely on your control. Your life is not suspended by your effort alone. I am present in the details you cannot see. Release the need to orchestrate every outcome. Release the fear that you must hold the entire future together. Open your hands. Let me carry what is too heavy. You will find that peace enters where tension once ruled, and strength returns where exhaustion once lingered. My beloved child, even if you cannot fully see it yet, a shift is happening in your life. It may not be loud. It may not come with dramatic announcements or immediate visible changes. But beneath the surface of your current circumstances, something is moving. Patterns are adjusting. Perspectives are evolving. Doors you once knocked on are losing their hold over your heart, and new possibilities are quietly forming. You have felt it in subtle ways. A growing restlessness with what no longer fits. A gentle stirring that tells you certain habits, relationships, or mindsets are reaching their end. This is not instability. It is transition. And transition often feels uncomfortable before it feels clear. Imagine the moment just before dawn. The sky is still dark, but something in the air feels different. The stillness shifts. Birds begin to stir. The horizon carries the faintest hint of light. If you were only focused on the darkness, you might assume nothing has changed. But those who pay attention can sense that morning is approaching. That is where you are now. There are things you once tolerated that you are no longer willing to accept. Not from others, and not from yourself. Boundaries are strengthening. Discernment is sharpening. You are becoming more aware of what aligns with your peace and what disrupts it. This awareness is part of the shift. You may also notice that old fears do not grip you as tightly as they once did. The thoughts that used to spiral uncontrollably now pause sooner. The disappointments that once defined you now teach you. Growth has been happening quietly, and now it is preparing you for movement. Change can be intimidating, even when it is positive. The familiar, even if imperfect, feels safe. The unknown, even if promising, can feel risky. But do not mistake comfort for calling. Sometimes I allow discomfort to increase, not to punish you, but to prevent you from settling for less than what you were created for. A shift does not always mean you must abandon everything and start over. Sometimes it means internal realignment. a new way of seeing yourself, a renewed confidence in your voice, a deeper trust in my guidance. When your internal posture changes, your external circumstances eventually follow. Think of a river altering its course slightly over time. A movement is gradual, almost unnoticeable at first, but eventually, the landscape changes because the flow has shifted. In the same way, your life is being redirected gently toward alignment with your purpose. You do not need to force this shift. You do not need to accelerate it out of impatience. Let it unfold naturally. Pay attention to the nudges within you. Notice what energizes you and what drains you. Notice where peace increases and where tension persists. These are signals guiding you forward. My beloved child, trust that what feels unsettled right now is part of preparation. You are not losing ground. You are gaining clarity. You are not being uprooted without reason. You are being repositioned. Hold steady. Stay attentive. The shift may feel subtle today, but soon you will look back and realize that this was the season when everything began to change in quiet but powerful ways. And as it unfolds, you will see that you were never drifting. You were being led. My beloved child, you were never meant to walk this life entirely alone. Yes, there are seasons of solitude that shape you. There are stretches of quiet where growth happens deeply within. But isolation was never your permanent design. I created you with a heart that longs for connection, for understanding, for shared laughter and shared burdens. You have known relationships that drain you. You have encountered people who misunderstood you, who failed to show up when you needed them most, who perhaps even wounded you. Those experiences may have made you cautious. They may have tempted you to build walls higher than necessary. And while protection has its place, I do not want fear to close you off from the healthy connections I am preparing for you. There are people I am sending into your life. Some are already near you, waiting for the right moment to deepen the bond. Others have not yet crossed your path. They will not arrive with dramatic introductions. Often, meaningful connections begin quietly, with a simple conversation, a shared interest, a moment of unexpected honesty. The people I am aligning with you will not be perfect. No one is. But they will resonate with your spirit. They will encourage your growth rather than compete with it. They will respect your boundaries rather than challenge them. They will celebrate your victories without envy and stand beside you in difficulty without retreat. You have sometimes settled for less than this because loneliness felt heavier than compromise. You accepted relationships where you felt unseen because the alternative seemed emptier. But I am teaching you to value yourself enough to wait for connections that honor your worth. Imagine a garden where certain plants thrive side by side. Their roots do not compete destructively. They support the health of the soil together. They receive sunlight, share nutrients, and grow stronger in proximity. That is how aligned relationships function. They do not diminish you. They help you flourish. There are also individuals who will enter your life for a specific season, to teach you something important, to stretch you in a necessary way. Not every connection is meant to last forever. Some are bridges. Some are lessons. When certain relationships end, it does not always mean failure. Sometimes it means completion. Trust that I see who influences you. I see the conversations that uplift you and the ones that quietly exhaust you. I am guiding you toward circles where your presence is valued, not merely tolerated. Where your voice is heard, not dismissed. As you continue growing, your environment will adjust. You may feel yourself outgrowing certain dynamics. That is not arrogance. It is maturity. It is recognizing that peace and respect are not luxuries. They are essentials. Be open, my beloved child. Do not let past disappointments harden your heart completely. Keep discernment, yes, but also keep hope. I am weaving connections that will support your calling, friendships that will remind you of who you are when you forget, mentors who will guide you gently, and perhaps even those who will one day lean on you for strength you have gained through your journey. You are not destined to walk unsupported. Community is part of your design. When the right people appear, you will sense the difference. There will be ease. There will be mutual care. There will be growth. Trust the timing. Trust the alignment. I am sending the right people into your life, not to complicate it, but to complement it. And in their presence, you will discover that connection, when healthy, multiplies joy and divides sorrow. My beloved child, there is a quiet fear that sometimes whispers to you, telling you that your past has disqualified you from something greater. It reminds you of your failures. It points to moments when you lost your way, when you acted out of fear, when you made choices you now regret. It suggests that because of those chapters, certain doors should remain closed to you. But I tell you with unwavering tenderness, your past does not disqualify you. You see your history as a list of mistakes. I see it as a landscape of lessons. You see broken pieces. I see material I can redeem. Nothing in your story surprises me. Nothing in it places you beyond my ability to restore. There was once a craftsman who found a piece of wood discarded on the ground. It was scarred, uneven, and marked by years of wear. Others passed it by, assuming it had no value. But the craftsman saw potential. He cleaned it, shaped it, smoothed its rough edges. Over time, the discarded wood became part of something beautiful and useful. What others saw as ruined, he saw as redeemable. My beloved, I am the craftsman in your life. The very areas you believe disqualify you are often the places where compassion and wisdom have taken root. You understand certain struggles because you have lived them. You recognize warning signs because you have walked through consequences. Your experiences have given you insight that someone untouched by hardship might not possess. You may carry guilt over choices that hurt you or others. Guilt can be a signal that your heart desires growth. But do not let guilt turn into permanent condemnation. There is a difference between learning from your past and living imprisoned by it. I do not hold your former mistakes over you as a reminder of shame. When you seek growth and change, I meet you with grace. Grace does not erase responsibility. It transforms it. It allows you to acknowledge what happened without allowing it to define who you are becoming. It frees you to move forward with humility and strength rather than with self-hatred. You might believe that others remember your failures more than your progress. You might fear being judged by outdated versions of yourself. But people's perceptions do not determine your destiny. I see the full arc of your life. I see who you were, who you are, and who you are becoming. There are opportunities ahead that align with your growth, not with your past errors. Do not shrink back from them because you feel unworthy. Worthiness is not earned through perfection. It is embraced through transformation. When the memory of an old mistake resurfaces, do not let it paralyze you. Instead, let it remind you how far you have come. Let it highlight the strength that developed afterward. Let it show you the resilience that formed in its wake. My beloved child, nothing in your history has removed my call from your life. Nothing has erased your potential. I am not writing your future based on your worst day. I am writing it with the fullness of your redeemed journey in mind. Lift your head. Step forward without the chains of yesterday. Your past may have shaped you, but it does not own you. You are not disqualified. You are refined. And what lies ahead is not limited by what lies behind. My beloved child, I am speaking peace over your home right now. Not just the physical space where you sleep, but the atmosphere that surrounds your daily life. The rooms you walk through, the conversations that fill the air, the thoughts that greet you when you wake and linger when you lie down. Peace is not meant to be a distant concept. It is meant to dwell with you. There have been moments when your home felt heavy. Tension lingered in subtle ways. Words left unspoken created distance. Financial concerns, personal stress, or relational strain followed you through the doorway and settled into the corners of your space. Even when everything looked fine on the outside, you sensed an undercurrent of unrest. But I am not absent from your environment. Imagine a gentle breeze moving through a closed room. At first, the air feels still and stale. But when a window opens, fresh air begins to circulate. The atmosphere shifts. You breathe more deeply without even realizing why. That is how my peace enters, quietly, steadily, transforming the unseen currents around you. Peace does not always mean the absence of disagreement. It means the presence of understanding. It means conversations that once escalated now soften. It means patience where there was once regret. It means choosing kindness even when irritation tempts you. These small shifts alter the entire environment. If you live alone, peace still matters deeply. It settles in your thoughts. It calms the background noise of worry. It allows your evenings to feel restful rather than restless. It creates space for reflection without anxiety. Solitude, when filled with peace, becomes restorative rather than lonely. If you share your home with others, peace becomes a shared gift. It influences how you speak. It shapes how you respond. It encourages forgiveness where pride once stood. It invites collaboration instead of competition. It does not eliminate all challenges, but it changes the way you face them together. There may be areas in your home life that still feel unsettled, patterns you wish would shift, habits you hope will improve. Bring these areas to me. Do not assume they are beyond transformation. Sometimes change begins with one person choosing a different posture, one person deciding to listen more closely, one person choosing gentleness over sharpness. Peace also extends to practical concerns. When bills stack up or responsibilities increase, stress can seep into every corner. But even in financial or logistical pressure, peace can anchor you. It reminds you that panic does not solve problems. Clarity grows in calmness. Solutions become visible when fear quiets. I am breathing over your home right now. Over the conversations that will take place there, over the decisions that will be made, over the sleep that will restore you, over the meals that will nourish you, over the moments of laughter that will lighten your spirit. My beloved child, peace is not fragile. It is resilient. It does not crumble at the first sign of difficulty. It stands firm because it is rooted in trust. As you invite my presence into your daily routines, you will notice the difference. Let your home become a place of refuge rather than tension. Let it be a space where you can exhale fully. Let it be an environment where growth is nurtured and love is expressed. Peace is entering your home, not loudly, not forcefully, but steadily. And as it settles, you will find that what once felt chaotic begins to align with calm. My beloved child, I know there are practical concerns that weigh heavily on your mind. Not just emotional or spiritual questions, but tangible, everyday responsibilities. Bills that must be paid, decisions that affect your stability, obligations that do not pause simply because you feel tired. Financial pressure has a way of tightening your chest and stealing your rest. You may calculate numbers repeatedly, hoping they will rearrange themselves into reassurance. You may lie awake at night thinking through possibilities, imagining worst-case scenarios, trying to prepare for outcomes that have not yet happened. These worries can feel urgent, immediate, and impossible to ignore. I do not dismiss these concerns. Your practical needs matter. Provision matters. Stability matters. I understand that you live in a world where resources are required to function. But hear me clearly, your life is not sustained by numbers alone. It is sustained by my faithful care. There was a time when people wandered through a barren landscape with no visible source of food. Each morning, provision appeared for the day, not for a year ahead, not for a decade, just for the day. It required trust. It required waking up and believing that what was needed would be present again. That daily provision built dependence not on accumulation, but on relationship. You often wait for long-term guarantees, a full roadmap, a secured future with no uncertainty. But I frequently provide in rhythms, step by step, day by day. Not to frustrate you, but to teach you that you are not alone in carrying your needs. Your worth is not measured by your income. Your value is not determined by your financial status. You are not more loved when you are thriving economically, nor less loved when you are navigating scarcity. Do not let money define your identity. At the same time, I encourage wisdom, careful stewardship, responsible decisions, planning within your means. These are not signs of lack of faith. They are signs of maturity. Trust and responsibility work together. Do what is within your reach with integrity, and release the rest into my hands. You may fear that if something unexpected happens, you will not be able to recover. But you have already recovered from situations you once thought would break you. Provision does not always arrive in the form you expect. Sometimes it comes through opportunity, sometimes through unexpected help, sometimes through a shift in perspective that reveals a path you had not seen before. Practical worries can narrow your focus until all you see is lack. But lift your gaze slightly. Notice what has been sustained. Notice what has not collapsed. Notice the ways you have made it through previous tight seasons. That was not luck. That was grace intertwined with your effort. My beloved child, you do not have to carry financial anxiety alone. When worry rises, bring it to me honestly. Speak about it without shame. I am not distant from your material concerns. I am present in them. Trust that as you take responsible steps, I am working alongside you in ways you cannot yet see. Doors will open. Ideas will come. Strength will rise within you to manage what once felt overwhelming. You are not abandoned to scarcity. You are not destined for constant struggle. Even in seasons of tightness, there can be peace. Even in uncertainty, there can be provision. Release the panic. Keep the diligence. Hold on to trust. I am attentive to your needs, and I will continue to guide you through each practical challenge with wisdom, steadiness, and care. My beloved child, deep within you there is a longing to know that your life matters. Not just in small, passing ways, but in ways that carry meaning beyond routine. You want to believe that your existence is not accidental, that your days are not random repetitions, that your efforts contribute to something lasting. That longing is not selfish. It is part of how I designed you. Purpose is not always revealed in a single, dramatic moment. It rarely arrives as a complete blueprint handed to you all at once. More often, it unfolds gradually, through experiences, through lessons, through quiet nudges that guide your attention in certain directions. You are not meant to have every detail at once. You are meant to discover it as you walk. You may think purpose must look extraordinary. You may imagine grand platforms, visible impact, unmistakable recognition. But purpose often expresses itself in faithful consistency. It shows up in how you treat people, in how you handle responsibility, in how you choose integrity when shortcuts tempt you. Consider a tapestry woven slowly over time. From the back, it appears tangled and unfinished. Threads cross in ways that seem chaotic, but from the front, a pattern emerges, intricate, intentional, beautiful. You are currently standing behind parts of your own tapestry. You see loose threads. I see design. The skills you have developed, even in jobs or roles you did not love, are not wasted. The compassion you gain through hardship is not meaningless. The interests that quietly energize you are clues. Purpose leaves traces. It often aligns with what brings you deep satisfaction when you help, create, build, or encourage. You may feel uncertain about your direction. You may compare your path to others who seem certain of theirs. But certainty is not the only sign of purpose. Faithfulness is. When you commit to growth, when you pursue what aligns with truth and kindness, when you remain open to guidance, purpose moves with you. There will be seasons when your role changes, when opportunities shift, when what once defined your days no longer does. That does not mean you have lost purpose. It means it is evolving. Just as a river flows through different landscapes yet remains the same river, your calling can adapt while your core identity remains steady. Do not pressure yourself to have everything figured out. Instead, focus on the next step. What is in front of you right now that you can do with excellence and heart? What opportunity to serve, to learn, to create lies within reach today? Purpose grows through small, faithful acts. You were not created to merely pass time. You were formed with intention. There are lives you will touch, conversations you will influence, decisions you will make that ripple outward beyond your awareness. Even your quiet perseverance speaks to others more than you know. My beloved child, trust that your purpose is not lost. It is unfolded. Each experience, even the confusing ones, contributes to it. Stay attentive. Stay willing. Stay open to growth. You do not need a spotlight to fulfill your calling. You need presence. You need sincerity. You need trust. And as you continue walking with me, the pattern will become clearer. Your life is not ordinary in the way you fear. It is meaningful in ways you are still discovering. And step by step, thread by thread, your purpose is being woven into something that will one day make perfect sense. My beloved child, you have come too far to give up now. There have been moments recently when quitting felt tempting. Not always in dramatic ways, but in subtle thoughts. Maybe this isn't worth it. Maybe I should stop trying. Maybe it would be easier to just settle. Fatigue has been whispering to you. Discouragement has tried to convince you that the effort outweighs the reward. But listen to me carefully. This is not the end of your story. This is a stretch of the journey that requires endurance. When a runner approaches the final part of a long race, their body often feels the heaviest. Muscles ache. Breathing grows labored. The finish line may not yet be visible. It is in that very moment that the temptation to stop is strongest. Yet it is also the moment closest to breakthrough. If they could see how near they are, they would find renewed strength to continue. You cannot yet see all that is forming ahead. You cannot measure how close you are to the shift you have been waiting for. But I can. And I tell you with certainty, Do not surrender to temporary exhaustion. Giving up sometimes disguises itself as relief. You imagine laying down the burden and feeling immediate lightness. But what you truly long for is not escape. It is fulfillment. It is resolution. It is the satisfaction of seeing something through. There have been seeds you planted in faith, efforts you invested consistently, prayers you whispered persistently, growth you pursued quietly. Just because you have not yet seen the full harvest does not mean the soil is barren. Some growth takes place beneath the surface long before it appears above it. Remember how far you have already traveled. There were obstacles that once seemed insurmountable. You moved through them. There were doubts that once felt paralyzing. You confronted them. The strength you displayed then is still within you now. Do not let a moment of weariness rewrite your commitment. Rest if you need to. Pause to breathe. Adjust your pace. But do not abandon the path entirely. There is a difference between rest and resignation. Rest restores. Resignation diminishes. You may not feel brave every day. You may not wake up filled with motivation. But courage is not constant emotion. It is consistent decision. It is choosing, again and again, to take one more step. My beloved child, I see the breakthrough forming even when you cannot. I see doors aligning. I see clarity increasing. I see strength building in you that will soon meet opportunity. The pressure you feel right now is not proof of failure. It is often a sign that something is about to shift. If you stop now, you may never witness what was about to unfold. Stay steady. Stay anchored. Lean into me when your own resolve feels thin. You are not required to carry your perseverance alone. I supply strength when yours runs low. There is purpose still unfolding. There is restoration still ahead. There are answers still coming. And the version of you that will stand in that future will look back at this moment and be grateful you did not quit. My beloved child, do not give up now. You are closer than you think. Hold on a little longer. Trust a little deeper. Continue a little further. The journey is not finished, and neither are you. My beloved child, there are things you lost that you still think about. Opportunities that slipped away. Relationships that ended differently than you hoped. Time that feels wasted. Versions of yourself you miss. Loss has many forms, and not all of them are visible to others. Some losses are quiet, deeply personal, known only to you and to me. You may carry a subtle grief over what could have been. You imagine alternate paths, different outcomes, conversations that might have changed everything. You wonder if you will ever regain what was taken, or if certain chapters are closed forever. Listen to me with tenderness. I am a restorer. Restoration does not always mean returning things exactly as they were. Sometimes what was lost cannot be recreated in the same form. But restoration means that nothing you endured is wasted. It means I can bring beauty from what felt broken. It means that even when something ended, the story did not. Think of an old building left in ruins. Walls cracked. Windows shattered. Dust covering what once was vibrant. To some, it looks beyond repair. But to a skilled restorer, those ruins hold potential. Stone by stone, beam by beam, the structure can be rebuilt, stronger than before, reinforced with wisdom from its former collapse. In the same way, I am rebuilding areas of your life that felt permanently damaged. If you lost confidence because of failure, I am restoring it through resilience. If you lost trust because of betrayal, I am restoring it through discernment and healthier boundaries. If you lost time to seasons of confusion, I am redeeming the time by accelerating growth in ways that surprise you. You may not receive back the exact person, opportunity, or circumstance you once held, but you will receive something aligned with who you are now. And who you are now carries more depth, more understanding, more clarity than who you were before. Even the years you think were wasted have shaped you. They taught you what you value. They revealed what does not serve you. They strengthened muscles you did not know you would need. I weave all of it together. There are blessings ahead that will feel like restoration, not because they are identical to the past, but because they fill the empty spaces with something meaningful and right. You will look at what unfolds and realize that what you thought was lost forever was being transformed. You may not yet see how certain gaps will be filled. That is where trust comes in. Restoration often begins invisibly. Just as a broken bone strengthens at the healed point, sometimes what once was weak becomes the strongest part of the structure. My beloved child, I do not delight in your pain. I do not ignore your grief. I gather every fragment of your story and breathe new life into it. The chapters you mourn are not erased. They are integrated into a greater narrative. Hold on to hope. Do not believe that loss is the final word over you. It is not. I specialize in redemption. I bring growth from ruins. I turn sorrow into wisdom. I create new beginnings from endings. You will not remain in lack forever. What was taken will not define your future. I am restoring what was lost, not always in the way you expect, but in the way that will ultimately bring you deeper peace and lasting joy. My beloved child, you have walked through a stretch of night that felt longer than you expected. There were moments when the darkness seemed steady and unchanging, when you wondered if dawn would ever come. You learned to move carefully in dim light. You adjusted your eyes to shadows. You told yourself to endure just a little longer. But I want you to notice something now. Light is breaking through. It may not yet be full daylight. It may not yet flood every corner of your life. But there are streaks of brightness on the horizon. Subtle signs that what once felt heavy is beginning to lift. Thoughts that once spiraled now settle more quickly. Situations that once overwhelmed you now feel manageable. Conversations that once felt tense now carry softness. These are not coincidences. They are indicators. Imagine standing on a hill just before sunrise. The sky remains dark overhead, but at the edge of the horizon, a thin line of gold begins to appear. It is easy to miss if you are not watching closely. But once you see it, you realize something profound. Night cannot hold forever. The sun is rising, whether you feel ready for it or not. You have endured more than you speak about. You have navigated internal battles that others may never fully understand. And through it all, you kept going. That endurance positioned you for this moment of transition. Light does not erase the memory of night, but it changes your experience of it. The same landscape that looked intimidating in darkness becomes familiar in morning light. Shapes are clarified. Paths become visible. What once felt threatening become manageable. There are insights forming within you now that you did not have before. Lessons learned through pain are beginning to reveal their purpose. You are understanding yourself more clearly. You are recognizing patterns you once overlooked. This clarity is part of the light. You may also notice renewed energy in small ways. A desire to try again. A willingness to hope cautiously. A sense that something good is possible, even if you cannot yet define it. These stirrings are not illusions. They are signs of restoration at work. You'll not rush the sunrise. Let it unfold naturally. Dawn does not burst into noon instantly. It progresses steadily, gently expanding its reach. In the same way, allow your healing and renewal to grow without forcing immediate perfection. There will still be moments of shadow, but they will not dominate as they once did. Light shifts the balance. It brings warmth. It reveals beauty you could not see before. My beloved child, receive this new light with openness. Do not brace for it to disappear. Do not sabotage joy out of fear that it will not last. Allow yourself to welcome the brightness. You are not meant to remain in survival mode forever. You are moving into a season of steadier ground, clearer vision, deeper peace. The darkness you endured has prepared you to appreciate the light now emerging. Stand still for a moment and feel it. The subtle warmth, the expanding clarity, the renewed hope. Light is breaking through, and it is touching your life more than you realize. The night did not win, and it never will. My beloved child, I want you to remember this moment. Not just the words you are hearing, but the feeling stirring within you. The quiet steadiness settling in your chest. The sense that you are not alone. Moments like this are anchors, and when future winds try to shake you, I want you to return here in your memory. There will be days ahead when doubt attempts to rise again. Days when circumstances seem louder than truth. Days when old fears knock at your door, hoping to be welcomed back in. On those days, remember this conversation. Remember that you were seen. Remember that you were reassured. Remember that clarity touched you here. Memory can either trap you in pain or strengthen you with truth. Let this be a memory that strengthens you. Imagine tying a knot at a certain point along a rope to mark a significant place in your journey. When you run your hands along that rope later, you feel the knot and recall what happened there. This is such a knot in your story. A marker. A reminder that in a season of uncertainty, you paused and listened. And I spoke. You may forget some phrases over time. That is natural. But I do not want you to forget the essence. You are loved, guided, strengthened, restored. Those truths do not expire. They are not limited to this single listening. They are woven into your identity. When you feel tempted to believe you are behind, remember that I told you your timing is intentional. When you feel the weight of yesterday pressing in, remember that I told you your past does not define you. When the future feels foggy, remember that I walk ahead of you in the unknown. There is power in recalling what is true. The mind can drift toward fear easily, but you can gently guide it back to this anchor point. You can say to yourself, I am not abandoned. I am not forgotten. I am becoming. This moment is not dramatic. It may seem simple, but sometimes the most transformative shifts happen quietly. A seed planted in calm reflection can grow into a forest of strength over time. You may revisit these words when you need reassurance. You may share them with someone else who feels lost. In doing so, you will extend the comfort you received. That is how light multiplies, one heart reminding another of what is true. My beloved child, let this moment settle deeply. Let it imprint gently on your spirit. You are not the same as you were at the beginning of this message. Something subtle has shifted. A weight has lifted slightly. A perspective has broadened. Carry that with you. As you move forward from here, you will encounter challenges and joys alike, but you will not encounter them empty-handed. You carry truth now. You carry reassurance. You carry the memory of being spoken to with tenderness. And when the world grows loud again, return to this quiet place inside you. Remember this moment. Remember my voice. Remember who you are. You are not walking alone, and you never have been. My beloved child, as we come to the end of this moment together, I want you to pause and breathe in everything you have heard. From the very beginning, when I told you this message was not an accident. Until now, I have been reminding you of one unshakable truth. You are seen, you are loved, and you are guided. You are not behind. You are becoming. You are not disqualified. You are being refined. You are not alone in the night. Light is breaking through. I have walked with you through your doubts, your waiting, your quiet tears, your financial worries, your questions about purpose, and your fear of the unknown. I have reminded you that closed doors were protection, that hidden growth was still growth, that your strength is greater than you knew. Nothing in your life has been wasted. Not the pain, not the delay, not even the mistakes. I am weaving it all into something meaningful. As you step forward from this message, carry peace with you. Let it rest in your thoughts. Let it settle in your home. Let it shape your decisions. When anxiety tries to rise again, remember that I hold your future. When regret whispers, remember that I restore what was lost. When weariness tempts you to quit, remember that you are closer than you think. Now I speak blessing over you. May your mind be steady. May your heart be lightened. May your home be filled with calm. May your path be guided with quiet clarity. May provision meet you in the right timing. May courage rise within you when you need it most. And my beloved child, if this message has strengthened your spirit, then hear me clearly. Do not keep this light to yourself. When you give through Super Thanks, join as a member, or so through the PayPal link placed in the description and shown in the QR code, you are not funding a channel. You are releasing living water to reach thirsty hearts. I have said that whoever sows generously will reap generously, and I breathe that promise over you now. When you act in faith, you become a vessel through which my word travels further than you can imagine. This is holy participation, not obligation. Every seed you release becomes light in someone else's darkness. I see your generosity, and I will honor it with provision, peace, and multiplied grace. Do not hesitate when your heart is stirred. Move in obedience and give. My beloved child, thank you for staying. Thank you for listening. Thank you for opening your heart. I am with you as you rise tomorrow. I am with you in every decision. I am with you in every unseen moment. You are loved beyond measure. You are held beyond fear. You are mine. Amen.